Alrighty, and welcome back to the Mother-Daughter Disney podcast. My name is Amanda. I'm here with my lovely mother.
Hi, I'm Janette.
And today my mom is going to give us some fun DVC tips. We did an episode a few years ago now all about DVC, but I thought we could do another refreshed episode so it's up to date to current 2026. So my mom is going to run through just basically, a lot of tips and tricks that she does for the DVC. So all right, take it away.
Yeah, I kind of did a background again because, like I said, we love it. Obviously, we love going there. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, we all love going there. Our family is just, you use a lot of the benefits. We use a lot of the benefits of being there. We've owned DVC since 2009. DVC is a 50-year membership, so which means that we still have 33 years left. I will not be going for the next 33 years.
No, I think you will be. I keep telling you, we're going to strap her to that wheelchair.
No, I'm not getting in that wheelchair. Anyway, the original DVC was Old Key West. Now, that was way before you. That one was built all the way back, and it expires in 2042, which is not that, technically not that far off, but that's the first one. And every hotel after that, it starts at 50 years once they build, and then it goes out. So I think the last one was the Polynesian, and that's going to go out in 2076. Yeah. Is going to be when the Polynesian Towers, I think, is the last one. And I think the new one they're building is Lakeshore, right?
Well, isn't Riviera still selling some DVC, or have they sold out?
Well, yes, they're all selling. You can also buy resale, which I get to in a minute, but you can also buy resale. The problem with resale is if you don't buy directly from Disney resale, because some of their places, they do have things that come up because people sell theirs back.
For sure.
So they do have that you can buy in certain places when they come available. A lot of people like to buy resale because they figure that they get it cheaper because somebody's trying to get rid of it. But the problem with that is you don't get all the benefits.
Yeah.
And
it depends,
you cannot trade to places like Riviera or the new Polynesian Tower. But anyway, Disney Vacation Club, you purchase points. And that's the difference here, is that you purchase points as a single vacation club hotel. Once you purchase your points, you're able to vacation at your resort every year for as long as you want. And it's a point system. So the club is, as mentioned, each resort is under management in the club, and it has a 50-year anniversary. So you have to pick a place you really want to go to, and most likely it's going to be one of the newer ones being built. Is that if you're buying when it's being built, like we did, you save money because it's pre-construction prices. So you save money. But what happens to them after the 50 years is up? Nobody knows.
Yeah, well, because
they're going to resell, obviously. But how early they're going to start reselling those memberships, or how they're going to resell those memberships, or what they're going to do.
How the renewal process is going to look like.
Right. Whether they're going to update the hotel before they turn it over and give it, do whatever. Who knows? Nobody knows. They don't tell you what's going to happen in 50 years. Obviously, it is a point system. And the point systems are based on a chart of what time of year you want to go, what type of room you want to stay in, a studio, a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, or and what view you want out of your room. So if you want the point charts, you have to figure out what you want to do. When we bought, we were so enthralled with Disney that we said, we want to come, every other year, because at that time we didn't think we could afford to come every year when we bought it. We want to come every other year, and we want to see the Magic Kingdom. We want to see the fireworks. We want to see this. We want to see that. We had to figure out how many points we actually wanted. And obviously the Disney professional who you sit with does that with you. They'll tell you if you say, you want to come every other year and you want to stay at Bay Lake and you want to stay in a room that looks at Magic Kingdom, this is how many points you're going to need every other year to stay at that hotel. Yep. DVC, as I mentioned, you buy an interest in your home resort and you receive an annual allotment of those points you pick out. So every year you get an allotment of your points. You pay a one-time upfront cost per point, and then, which depends upon which resort, because obviously some resorts were cheaper than others, as I think they're starting to get more and more expensive now. But if you buy one that's like from Beach Club or like Boardwalk that's been resold back, you could possibly save some money. Then you are responsible for annual dues, which go up every year. They are not a set thing. They go up and up and up. The point system, that's instead of being, I have to say, we used to belong to Marriott timeshare, and you were locked into 1 week all at once. So you could only go for the week. You couldn't just go for like 3 days here, 2 days there. Trying to trade on Marriott was absolutely impossible. Once you had a resort, that's where you were going because you couldn't trade at all. But what happens is if you book the different resorts and rooms, there are different requirements. So when you look at that chart, when you book your room, it's 11 months out. At 11 months, you're allowed to book your room, and you get the greatest priority if you book your room at 11 months out at 8 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, because that's when they release
Disney
the
time.
rooms. Yes, Eastern Standard Time. Okay. I've been on there earlier. Every once in a while, it does release earlier, and maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes earlier, it's out there. But if you want standard view, let's say, because we learned our lesson, we do not need to see the fireworks.
No, because we did it for the first few years for sure, because it was exciting and it was shiny and new. But then we realized there's a lot of places to see the fireworks.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
You know, you don't have to see it from your balcony every single night.
You don't have to
if
be
I'm being
standing
quite
on your
honest.
balcony to see the fireworks. There are so many different places to see it, even if you're not in the park. And because we are at Bay Lake has different vantage points where you can go up and see the fireworks. And actually, they dim all the lights and, play the music and do all the stuff. So you really don't need to be on your balcony. So why spend the extra points? Because every point you spend is dollars. Because you need those points to book the room. And let's say next year you want to go for, more time, or you want to stay in a different resort, or you want to do something different. You need to bank those points. Now, it does get very confusing. Even I get confused with the banking and borrowing. But if you want, like I say, if you want to go and you say, like I'll say, I want a standard room on my day, on my week, or my 3 or 4 days that we're going. You always have to, in the back of your mind, say, especially I have to do it because Bay Lake has 3 different views: standard, lake, or firework, Magic Kingdom. You have to always in your mind think, I may not get standard. I may have to book lake. And that means I've got to be ready to know that if I can't get standard and I have to book lake because somebody else took all the standard, well, then I got to know that I have enough points. So you've always got to have a backup plan. You always got to say to yourself, okay, how much can I stay? What season can I stay in for those points that I have?
For sure.
Now, there's a couple extra things that happen here. At 11 months, you can go in and do that. At 11 months, there's also a thing called purchasing points. And you can purchase a one-time purchase to add points to your week. They're not that expensive, I have to admit. They're not like, booking a hotel room for the night, but they're very restrictive on how they let you use them. And as far as I could see, you can't do it when you make your reservation. You have to call them then and ask them to do it. So you've now got a reservation and hope that they have availability to add that to your reservation. So I think I've never tried to use them at this point.
But it's just an option at least.
Yes, it's an option. And I'm sure there's an easier way to do it than even I know of people who have used it or whatever. And one of the perks of being a DVC is that every once in a while they'll have these things where if you buy 1 point, they'll give you 1 point, like certain things, because DVC every once in a while runs their own little things that they tell you can do. Now, if you go on and they don't have what you want, you can waitlist. You're allowed to have 2 waitlists every time you put in a waitlist. Only 2. If you waitlist, you're not guaranteed getting it. So Disney does say on their website that they suggest that you book a room. If you want to go, you book that room. And then you put in a wait list for where you want to go. Now at 11 months, you can put in a wait list for your own hotel. You cannot put a wait list in for another hotel till 7 months out. At 7 months out, now that they figure that all the people who own at the resorts book their rooms.
Well, I guess in that sense, you don't really need to wait list your own resort.
Not unless you want a different room.
Oh, a different type. I see what you mean.
Yes, and I got to tell you.
So let's say if you got Lakeview, but you really want standard, you could wait list for the standard.
You want my opinion about that? It's a waste of time. Okay. It's a waste of time. You're not going to get it. Okay. We've owned for how many years now? And never have, does that happen. Once the standard rooms are gone, they're gone. You're not getting them. At 7 months out, we've done trades. Only once our trade came through to Boardwalk. Once we stayed at the Grand Floridian because I booked it on a fluke and I just happened to go in and see that rooms were available for a short weekend and we went there. And one time we stayed at the Animal Kingdom and I paid for the room. We've never really gotten all the wait lists, and we're on wait list right now for our next trip. Whether it comes in or not, can't tell. But I'm not unhappy if it doesn't come in because I mean, no matter where you stay, everything's, beautiful and wonderful. But I would like to go to Boardwalk this time. So we'll see. But it's very hard to get your wait list. But you can't do that until 8 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, exactly 7 months out from the date you want to put the wait list in for.
For sure.
But you're only allowed to put 2 wait lists in. Now, what I did, little trick, was I looked up Boardwalk. And I kind of looked up what's the best room to put a wait list in, what to do, and it was funny because it came back and told me how many rooms there are for each different view, like how many boardwalk rooms there are, how many standard rooms there are, how many pool rooms there are. There are a ton more pool rooms than there are standard rooms. So my first wait list went in for pool room, even though it costs more points. I would rather take a chance that maybe I'll get it because that has more rooms for them to see people churning over. Least amount of rooms obviously was the boardwalk because that hotel is so wide those rooms that face that boardwalk are only a short portion of it.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's why it was this. Okay, so now you get into banking and borrowing. If you have an allotment of points, you get a use year. Our use year is February. We must have bought in February. No, we bought in January, actually. I remember we were there during New Year's Eve week. We bought in January, I think it was. But it's February is our use year. Every February, we get our allotment of points. Now, those points are ours to use for that year. Like it's 2025 or 2026 or 2027. They tell you that you're getting a certain amount of points that are going to come in the same points every year. When you get those points, if you don't want to use them that year, you have to bank them by the 9th month of your year. So like from February to September, I can book, I can use them, I can do whatever I want. Come September, I have to bank those points to use for next year.
Because so if your use year started in like April, you'd have to do 9 months.
9 months out. Wow, that's your month to bank
that's
your
confusing.
points.
So
it's very confusing because you have to keep track of the dates.
You kind of got lucky with February.
Yes, you have to keep track of the dates.
That's confusing.
Because what happens is that you say, okay, I want to use these points for next year.
Well, I guess it would be the same every year, so then you just know these are my months.
You kind of get used to what your points are and what the months are, but we don't bank very much. So I'm always like, we're always using them. I'm always booking another vacation before they're used. So it's very confusing the 25th, the 26th year. Like, I'm using points from 25 and 26 and it becomes very, very confusing. So you got to stop and you got to think. And I put it on my calendar. Like if I don't use, like let's say we get a trade to Boardwalk. Those are less points than staying at the Bay Lake when we go. So if they give me back my points, I have to bank them by September. Otherwise, I lose those points. They're just not in, they're gone. They just take them away. Now, banking, you bank them into the next year to say, I want to use them next year. You have to use them next year.
Yeah, for
sure. If you don't use them next year, you can't keep banking them. They don't stay forever.
You can't roll over
They're
forever.
gone.
Yeah.
Okay. They don't bank up, whatever. But you can also borrow. So which means that let's say we want to go and we want to get like 2 rooms or we want to get a 3-bedroom or you want to go on a cruise or you want to do it because I'll get into that where you can use these points. You can take your points from this year, bank them into next year, and then next year pull the points from the year after into that year. So within 1 year, you could use 3 years worth of points. Okay, so if you want to plan that, we kind of go every year, so we don't do that, but you can do that. So banking and borrowing gets very crazy, and point expiration is very important because you're not going to want to lose those points. I mean, you think about what you paid for these points and what you're paying in dues. I have to say at this point, I'm very happy that we have it. Because I really believe that it is just the biggest bargain for us.
Well, yeah, I think anything with timeshare is that, yes, it's a very high upfront cost and costs every year. But if you were going to use it every year and it is of value to you to go to this, like for DVC, if you're going to go to Disney every year, then it is worth it.
Right.
But it's like if you're only going to go to Disney once or twice, every 10 years, then it's like,
it's not worth it. It's not worth to own. You just pay the money for the hotel.
So it kind of depends, I would say, how often someone is going to Disney.
Yes.
If this is worth it or not.
For us, we're going every year.
Especially if you want to stay on property and have all the amenities of being on property.
That was my next point.
Yeah.
I love the Disney because when we're talking about all this, the points, the whatever you can, we're on property.
Yeah.
And what we just paid it includes everything that goes on property.
Yeah.
Any of the amenities that you can use, like we've gone through all the hotels. I've done the hotel histories and what they offer and what gets done. All those hotel member benefits are you too. Just not even just the hotel itself. All the timeshares have those same benefits. They reap the benefits. You've got all the transportation. You're on Disney property. You don't have to drive. If we want to go and we want to go to dinner and we want to have drinks.
You have the early hours and stuff.
Yes, you get the early hours, the late hours. There are so many different, I'll get to a couple of more of the points when we get to that. But I love being there because I like being on property. When we owned Marriott, the only place I could ever use it was in Orlando because you couldn't trade any place else. Never got anything anywhere else anytime I tried to trade. So really the only place you could go was Orlando. Well, they're 15, 20 minutes away from Disney by the time you get in the car, by the time you hit the traffic, by the time you park the car, by the time you get in, you got to pay for parking. You got to do it wasn't worth it at that point. So that's why we got rid of our Marriott timeshares and we decided we're going to stay at Disney because it is just absolutely wonderful. So even though the bank, I have to say, it's not as confusing as it sounds once you actually check the dates and do it. And on their website, on the DVC website, they do have all kinds of things on there that show you how you bank your points, how you borrow your points, what's the time frames that you have to do it. There's a section that's questions. All the questions. So people come and say, what do I do about this? What do I do about that? So they do have all the questions for you. So I have to admit, the website does have a lot of information. So like, if you had to book the rooms and stuff where you're not used to it, all you have to do is go on and see exactly what it says. I mean, and I got to tell you, if you call member services, they will help you with whatever you want. I have to say, it's not a problem. Okay. So now we get to membership. Okay. There are 17, actually I think there's 18 now because when I looked this up, there's 18 uniquely themed DVC properties that you can use your points in. That includes all of the DVC rooms that are available, you can use your points in. And like I said, it was funny because when I went to go do the wait list in 7 months, there was a bungalow that was available at the Polynesian, those bungalows that they built on the lake.
Yes.
That's 550 points. Book that bungalow. And that bungalow was available for another month. Now it's gone. But it was available for a month. Everything else said no rooms available at all.
Just the
bungalow was still sitting there. Yes, because that's a lot of points. I was going to say a lot of points. Yes, that's a lot of points. Okay. The membership has a lot of perks. Beyond the rooms and the extras, it includes discounts. We use the discounts.
I was gonna say the
discounts is on dining. It's on merchandise. It's on all of your activities. It's on certain tickets.
Yes.
I can buy, because I'm a DVC member, a Sorcerer's Pass, which kind of matches up to...
So Sorcerer's Pass is an annual pass, but one of the levels of annual pass.
Yes, it's a level of annual pass that's higher than a Florida Pass, because Florida Pass, they're blacked out.
Yeah, they have a lot of
Sorcerer's
blackout
Pass,
days.
you don't get blacked out. Now,
I think there are still some blackouts.
Yes, I think now.
It's like Christmases.
Yes,
and
if you want to buy, the ultimate annual passes always had discounts. There's discounts on tickets when they have special tickets going out. I'm pretty sure the Christmas tickets, the Halloween tickets, I still may get a discount. We did hit discounts for the horseback riding. Everything you do, any tour, anything, has a DVC discount on it, which saves you money here and there. Okay. The other thing is that they do offer membership magic nights. And we were lucky enough to be there one time when it happened, when we went to Hollywood
So some
Studios.
people who are local can go to every one, which is so cool when you see
I know,
people go.
because they do have them in different parks at different times of the year. And we just happened to be there.
The Hollywood Studios
booked in, because you have to be booked into your room, your DVC. We were booked in and we were going to be there that week.
Yeah.
So I got online, because you have to get online.
Yeah, so basically what they are is exclusive after hours events just for DVC members. So the whole park will close, and it's like the Christmas event, the Halloween event. Everything is just closed with DVC members. They'll have special food and treats that people can get.
You can just walk
a lot
around
of the
and
things
collect them.
sometimes are free too, so you can get some free ice creams as well, some free popcorn.
Right.
And again, exclusive things just for, sometimes they call it Moonlight Magic, sometimes there's other names for it that they call it. They're getting exclusive things just for the DVC members. And I think for ours, they also had a show as well that was going on, because we went around Christmas time or something like that.
Special show, Christmas
They had a show going on.
Right.
But the big thing is the rides, because the rides then there's no waits for half the
just
rides,
walk on
because there's
them.
only a fraction of the people that are in the park.
Right.
So again, and it's like, it was open late. It was till 1 a.m. or something like that.
I know, the only thing...
We left early because we were tired.
We were tired.
We could not stay till the end.
The only thing that I say is, if you ever go to one of those things, bring a little bag.
Oh yeah, bring an extra bag. We got so much stuff. Yeah, because we all got a popcorn bucket each, right? So we all had all the stuff. We got all their free stuff, and it's just at some point, it's all right, we can't carry these items.
Can't carry all. So we were a riot getting on that bus.
Yeah, it was so funny.
I said, well, if I ever could get to do it again, which would be really
we'd bring
cool,
a bag.
I would bring a little bag.
We would also go earlier, because even if you're just going for Moonlight Magic, you can still get into the park earlier. And I would prioritize getting your free stuff as early as you can, so then you can do the rides afterwards.
Yes.
But it kind of depends which parks. I've heard other parks, there's different strategies work better. So it depends which park, but for when we went that one time.
But that's something that
fun,
they
though.
give to their DVC members for free.
Yeah.
It's not that you have to pay for it. You just have to get on and register for it.
Yeah.
So I got on the computer and did what I had to do at the time I was supposed to do it, and we got tickets. So as long as you do that and you're a DVC member, you get the tickets.
Yep.
So I was impressed. I thought that was amazing that they do that a couple of times a year and give that away for free to the DVC members. So that was really good. I don't think I missed anything about the discounts, but
I think also you got priority bookings for Run Disney as well.
Oh, okay.
So you don't get discounts for Run Disney, but what happens is that they have the Run Disney membership club. So those people who are part of the club, they get to book their registration for the races first. I don't know if they get discounts or not, but they get to book first, and then the tiers come. So the DVC and annual pass holders, they can also book, I think, like a few days before the general population can book, which is a big deal for some of these races that sell out in seconds.
Right,
So
that's
it's like
what
if
I
you're
mean.
trying to
It
get
gives
into the
you
race,
that
you can book it a bit early.
Yes, a leg up, I guess. Or,
Yeah.
It just lets you know you're part of the DVC membership. It
And
does let you know.
Yeah, and to say too, the discounts work a lot of places. So of course, it works all in Walt Disney World, but it works on the Disney Cruise and Disneyland in California as well. I did get discounts off merchandise and
right,
food
when you went,
for the
right.
same thing. So
Yes. Because the thing is that also there's so many of them that they have they used to have a little booklet. Now it's online that you can go on your It's so much to look at that. You know what I do? I just go and say, do you give DVC discount?
Yeah, you just ask.
I just ask everybody. We just ask everybody.
you just ask them if they say
Yes.
yes or no. So
Most of the restaurants give it. Sometimes some will give 10, some give 20, some only give it for lunch. We just ask. We
Yeah,
just say,
it depends.
Do you
Yeah.
take DVC or do you take annual? Most places that take DVC also take annual pass discounts. We don't always have an annual pass. It depends upon when we're going and when it's going to fall and whatever. So, but all you have to do is ask. I mean, like I said, if you're a Disney person, you just, everybody's very willing to help. Everybody's willing
and sometimes DVC will be more than annual pass. Again,
Yes.
it depends.
They run specials.
Yeah, I was gonna say some places will be like annual pass is 10%, and then DVC is like 15 or 20%.
Or 20%.
So,
Right. So I always say, I have both. Which one gives me more if I have an annual pass? And they'll just tell you, and then they'll take it off.
Yep.
The extra park hours, as we were talking. Anything that's the extra park hours where they say you can get in early or stay late, you're allowed to do that. DVC, we get on every transportation. We have everything that's amenable to Disney. We get. So I really can't complain. I mean, they put all that together and it's worth every penny I paid for it. What else do I have to talk about? Okay. Properties are all beautiful, obviously. Disney really keeps up their properties. Okay. They also have a new thing for Disney DVC members called Magic Beyond. And that's somebody where you can pay $99 extra to stay there when you do your reservation. It includes specialty priced theme tickets, complimentary photo downloads, character meet and greets at Epcot Lounge, priority access to the DVC lounges, ability to use points to get an annual pass. So you can use your points to buy your annual pass if you have extras. One bonus for each time for one-time purchase, points up to 12 points purchased. So that's what I was talking about, the get a point for a point. That's you have to pay the $99 yearly fee to get where if you buy 12 points to add to your vacation, they're going to give you 12 more points. Now, if you know that you're going to need to do that, I would buy the $99 extra year because it's going to be worth it to get all this stuff plus get those extra 12 points to add to your vacation. So, I mean, you got to kind of play the game. You really got to figure it out. Okay. There's also it waives it. I didn't even know there was a $95 transaction fee when you book outside Walt Disney World. Like we've never done that, obviously, because we use it to go to Walt Disney World, but people use it to go to other hotels, the Disneyland Hotel, all the hotels around Disneyland, some of the cruises. And then you can also belong to, Disney signs you up for one of those trading systems. I forget at this point if they're on RCI or II, Interval International, one of them, but whatever it is, they sign you up for it. You don't have to pay the fee or anything. They sign you up for it. But every time you make a trade to one of those places, I guess there's a $95 fee.
Guess so.
We never did that. So I never had to pay anything.
That's good
We
to
just
know.
stay within the, what we want. So that was something else that was there. Okay. I'd like to go over some of the rules for banking and borrowing membership points. When you purchase your points, you have a use year. Like I said, I talked about February. Okay. You can only borrow points at the time of your reservation. Like you can't just go in and tell them, I want to borrow points and put them in my account for like this year. Like I want to borrow points and just put them in there and I'll decide what to do with them. Can't do that. When you borrow points, it's because you're going in to make a reservation. It's telling you don't have enough points and you have to tell them, I want to move this many points over to cover my reservation. They don't just let you take them and move them from year to year without having a reservation. I didn't know that because anytime I've banked or borrowed or done anything, I just did it with a reservation. So like I said, there's all these little rules and regulations on anything that you do. So they're all, like I said, if you're really going to use DVC, got to look at the website. Okay. And like I said, member services, there's two numbers for member service. You got the 800 number, which is the general number, 800-800-9800, or 407-566-3800. Both those numbers go directly to Disney, and you talk to somebody who'll help you with everything. When you join, they give you a digital member card. That member card is a little thing with a suitcase on it that says you're a Disney Vacation Club member. And anytime they ask you, you just have to show them that.
Yeah, you have to like add it to your wallet on
Yes.
if you have an iPhone onto your wallet on your phone, or again any phone that you have. It's kind of annoying because you guys used to have physical cards that said
Yes.
DVC member, which was a lot easier, if being quite honest.
I know.
Because initially when we had to add the card to their phones, it like took a second because it was kind of a little confusing. But again, you actually have to follow the steps really carefully, and then you're able to add the card.
Yes.
And then when you add the card, when you show someone, usually they'll like, if you're using a discount, they'll ask to see the card. A lot of times sometimes they'll ask for your photo
Sometimes
ID.
they ask for photo
Depends
ID.
on the person.
Yes.
But what they usually ask for is that when you show the card, there's this little I in the corner, like the letter I, for like more information. If you tap the I, it comes up with your name, and like it has the X's over like your membership number, but like the last 2 digits of your membership number, stuff like that. And almost all of the times they ask you to hit that I. And I think they do that to make sure they see it's a live, it's not a screenshot basically.
Right.
Because for instance, I've seen some people who would take a screenshot of their ID and then send it to someone, and someone else tries to use a discount, but then they can't click the I because you don't have that animation in your wallet, so to speak.
They got to get around everybody trying to do
so
whatever.
for the most part, whenever I've showed the ID and then clicked the I, it almost always works. And they usually don't ask for photo ID. I only say that because sometimes you don't always have your photo ID on you.
Right.
You go to the park light, so you just bring your phone
know,
and
we
you
try to
forget.
travel as
I know,
light
you
as
forget your
possible.
wallet or something like that. So, everything's
Right.
really attached to the phones and the magic bands these days.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, if you click the little I, so that's what they do now. But I do kind of miss the physical cards.
I know. I love physical. I love physical everything. I just wish, even on the airplanes,
It
I want
feels
to get
fun
on
and
with
like
a physical
special. You
ticket.
got like your little physical card.
Because all you need
DVC
to do
number.
is for your phone to go out right before you're supposed to board the plane. Then what do? I just like having that physical ticket. Anyway, I'm sounding old now. Okay. Like I said, we love to be on Disney Prop because even the transportation, when you talk about the transportation, there is all kinds of transportation from these hotels. You've got the buses, the sky ride. You've got the boats. You've got all the stuff that's going on. It's mostly reliable.
Well, I think too, because at this point, if you have DVC and you're going on a regular basis, it's like things break down, things get lost, whatever it may
Always
be.
on the worst night.
But then in theory, you're going pretty regularly,
Yes.
so it's like if we don't do it this time, we'll do it next time,
Right.
type of mentality.
Also, a lot of the DVC resorts are, how should I put it, priority bus routes. Mm-hmm. There's usually just 2 of them on a bus route.
Sometimes one.
They're usually priority bus routes around the parks because that's where most of the DVC rooms are, right near the park. They're not the ones that are kind of out too far. But, it's mostly, but you add that to your DVC membership and say, you know what? I don't have to rent a car. I don't have to do this. I don't have to worry. I just have to get on that bus and get off at my hotel. Okay. I have to say that I always book out 11 months, as I said before.
Have you ever tried booking for Bay Lake less than 11 months? Is there still availability?
Every once in a while.
Sometimes.
Yes, very, very rarely. I'm telling you. At 7 months, when I went to book the wait list for other places, our place was already booked up too.
Yeah.
So anybody looking for our place was booked up.
That's a good point.
I
yeah.
really believe that I think way back, Saratoga Springs is one of the biggest of the DVC hotels. Saratoga Springs is behind Disney Springs. So it's not always the most popular hotel. People want to stay at Bay Lake. They want to stay at, Boardwalk. They want to stay at the Polynesian. Saratoga Springs was always one of those hotels that if you couldn't get anything else and you wanted to go like a fast vacation, one time we had some points that were going to expire. We said, let's just go away for the weekend. And we ended up at Saratoga Springs because Saratoga Springs, no matter when you went on there was always a room available. Well, the last 2 times that I've put in wait lists for the last 2 vacations, Saratoga Springs is booked up. So that's why I think that Disney's DVCs are getting so heavy that if you don't book it 11 months, there's a very good chance you're not going.
For sure.
At least not staying at your DVC room, okay? But anyway, I believe that Disney is for us. I think that Disney's not for everybody. Not DVC is not for everybody. Like you said, if you're not going to go every year or at least every other year and want to stay in, in a hotel on Disney property, it is not worth owning a timeshare.
Yeah, no.
Timeshare is expensive. Those dues.
And it's a commitment. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a commitment for 50 years. It's very hard to get rid of. It was not fun getting rid of the Marriott ones, but we did use those when we were young to the point where it was worth it. But you have to use it and make it worth it. And you have to stay on top of the dates because everybody is booking these rooms. And if you really, really, really want to go, I know sometimes I'm crazy because I'll tell Amanda, like,
Well, I guess that's a good point too, that for instance, we always plan ahead because we have DVC. But for instance, like my husband and some of his friends, they don't really plan a lot of vacations ahead like that.
No.
And, sometimes that's a challenge if scheduling wise with work and school and kids and other family members and other vacations, sometimes you can't plan a vacation a year ahead. And so in that sense, then you, like you said, you can't use the points then. So
that's where I wanted to talk about just one more point about points. Okay. That's the problem is that once you book it, okay, if you book a vacation in this year, let's say 2026, and you decide to cancel it, those points, even if you borrowed them from 2027, are going to be put to 2026, okay? According to when you cancel it, you may have to use those points another time, but you can only book 30 days out. So what do you think the chances are of getting a room 30 days out when you want it? Not going to happen. I know one time we lucked out because we used some points because we had to come home early on a vacation.
Yeah, we had to cancel a trip.
We had no choice. We had to cancel the trip and come home halfway through the week. Didn't even dawn on me to ask them for anything. I just told them, I have to go home. I'm leaving. We're going to be out of the room. And they said, oh, let me go back in the office. And they went back and marked it so that we got the points back for those days. But then they were restricted. They were restricted to a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And you have a certain restriction of when you can book them. So that's why it's hard because we book. I drive everybody crazy and I tell them, you tell me when you want to go because I have to do this. I have to be on that.
You have to start planning out to say like, all right, next year and the year after, what are we thinking of like when we want to go, how long we want to go,
right.
Where do we want to try to stay, which again, that's not for everyone. So it's like a lot of my friends, they can't do that.
No, somebody says to me, you plan your vacations a year out. I said, I have to.
Yeah, a year to 2 years out sometimes. Because even then, it's like, we have our ideas of what we want to do for 2027. But then we were saying, all right, then what's 2028 going to look like? Just so you have an idea of
Well, that also comes into play that you have a timeshare that you're going to be going to. Well, if you know you're going, like if we know we're going for 2 long weekends this year and another weekend at the beginning of next year, well, guess what? I can get an annual pass instead of buying day tickets because it turns out to be a better deal.
It just changes. Again, I feel like any timeshare just changes how you think of vacation and like, how you're going to plan your vacations, how you're going to spend your money, of like where you want to go. Because again, some people, they go to Disney once. It's like, all right, we're good. Maybe we won't go again for 10 years. And obviously you're not going to want to.
And I'm telling you, I love it. So my thing is, we like it. I think it was worth the money I paid for it. I think it's worth the dues that I pay for it, for what we get when we go stay there. The luxurious accommodations. We do get to, say that if anybody, we have you coming. If you and Ted want to come, if Luke wants to come, we can always put the people, put you up. It's not like it's just me and Daddy saying, oh, we can only go to just the 2 of us. And then I have to worry about everybody else. So because you've always come on vacation to Disney with us, it's always been a great deal to do that.
Yeah.
When you were kids and we could go on vacation and go someplace and stay in one room, that was a different story. Now we can't all stay in one room. If we were going like, to Italy, or we were going to Florida or someplace else or whatever, it would have to be at least 2 rooms, which becomes very, very expensive. So with Disney, it's like anything else you say about Disney. People who say, oh, it's way too expensive. Well, yeah, price out everything you're getting for that money and then go someplace else and tell me it's not as expensive as...
Yeah, it's like, I feel like people always like to say Disney expensive, but in theory, Disney, yes, it is an expensive theme park, but it's not like the other theme parks are that much cheaper.
No,
it's not like you're going over to Universal or Six Flags and you're paying like, hundreds of dollars less than Disney.
Yeah.
And then again, if you think about even for like Magic Kingdom ticket for a 1-day ticket can be, $150 for that one single day for one person, which is a lot of money. But then if you think of how many, there's like over 30 rides in Magic Kingdom.
I know.
There's 2 parades a day. There's a fireworks show every single
Right.
night. So it's like if you think of everything that bundles into what's included in your ticket, I mean, like it is a lot, all things considered.
My thing is
all the
is
character
that,
meet and greets too.
I'm a New Yorker. You say to yourself, and you're a theater person. Think about what you pay to go see a
it's
play.
like of a New York play. Think of any sports, things at all. Like
a concert. One
concerts,
concert. They
sports
sing
shows.
for maybe 45, an hour and a half or whatever. And it's like $300 and $400 to see them.
And that's like for one evening.
I know.
But I think too, it's like we did see a football game a couple years ago. It's like we could have gone to Disney,
God, we could
twice
have with the price
on
we
those prices.
paid.
They're
I know.
expensive.
I know.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like, yes, Disney World is expensive, but at the end of the day, like anything else, is what you choose to spend your money
Right.
on. And
It's what you choose.
If you value it, then you value it. If you don't,
And
you don't.
we enjoy it. I mean, like I said, we enjoy it. We
Like
just
I said,
have a
I don't
good
go to
time.
live sports because I don't value live sports like that. So it's
No.
like, and that's okay
It was fun
too.
to go. We watched the Giants and the Eagles, so it was fun to go.
Well, that game, yeah, that was
yes,
different.
that game was fun
But
to go.
overall, I'm just saying, it's in a general
Yeah,
sense.
to
It's like,
go.
yeah, but yeah, like Broadway shows. Broadway is so expensive these
know.
days. How
It is.
people are affording Broadway, I don't
I
know.
know. There are people that go to some people go to the same show like 10 times.
Yeah, it's like,
and I'm
I don't know how people can do that.
How they do that, right? But like I said, everything's a choice. And DVC is a choice. We made it a long time ago, and I'm very happy that we did, because I think that everything we've done with it and everything we're going to use for it, and it's going to be, when I'm gone, it's going to be yours until it expires. It is definitely worth it.
No, for sure. Definitely for us.
Yeah.
But let us know, are you thinking of getting DVC, or do you have DVC? Where do you own? We'd love to know where you own. I always love meeting people who also own DVC because it's always fun to meet other people with DVC. And I rarely meet people who also own at Bay Lake. I've met a lot at Old Key West, surprisingly, just out and about.
Okay.
Because that was the first one, of course. So I've met quite a few Old Key West. I've met a few from Polynesian, which always feels fancy when someone's at Polynesian or Grand
wow.
Floridian.
Yeah, that's
but
new.
often I don't really meet a lot of people from Bay Lake.
Bay
So,
Lake.
let us know, where have you owned? If you had a dream spot that you could own, let us know where you could own if you wanted to.
Yeah, the reason we own at Bay Lake is because when we were looking,
was gonna say
it
we
was
were looking,
pre-construction.
It
I
was
don't
community.
particularly like the decor at Bay Lake. I would rather be at the boardwalk.
Although they
or-
recently renovated it. And
Yes,
it's not
and they did a
actually-
nice job.
It's pretty cute now. I don't mind it. I
Yes.
like it.
But we did it because it was pre-construction. We got that was the one last point. Pre-construction pricing. Plus, if you know somebody who owns
you can
DVC,
get like a referral, yeah.
you get a referral from them to say they referred me. You get a discount, and they get a reward for referring you.
So that's what I'm saying. So let us know, do you own DVC? What are your thoughts? Are you running over to DVC to try to buy it? Are you looking at all those charts online and being like, this is such a headache, this is so hard? Because it is hard. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of work to enjoy your vacation.
Oh God, DVC, Disney itself has become a lot of work
to enjoy your vacation.
Right.
All right, but definitely let us know though. I'll have all of our links in the description, of course. And then we will end today on our Disney quote here. So our quote is, seems like only yesterday we were both little girls wishing for our fairy tale dreams, and tonight they're finally coming true. So that's for anyone who's finally coming true to purchase their DVC. And this was said, of course, by Charlotte from The Princess and the Frog. So
The Princess and the Frog.
so Charlotte and
okay.
Tiana. Yeah, so Charlotte says that.
I was gonna say it had to be two girls together, so I was trying to figure out who that was.
Yeah, but I love that quote. That's one of my favorites. I love Charlotte. She's such a fun character in Princess and the Frog. All right, and then I feel like this whole podcast was a Disney memory, so I won't force you to pull out another Disney memory.
Mine was all memories of everything we've done.
But again, thanks everyone for listening. Make sure you give us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or leave a comment down below if you're watching YouTube. Again, our social media will be linked in the description. And again, let us know, what do you think of DVC? We'd love to hear your thoughts. So until then, we'll see you real soon.
Bye-bye.